Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is to be together as another week comes to a close, the first week after Pesach, after Passover. That's in the rearview mirror. We come together again to celebrate Shabbat, to celebrate just a normal, regular day of rest, the day that we mark every week. And it begins, as it does every week, with the lighting of Shabbat candles, which marks the end of the work week and the beginning of the sacred time. So I invite you to please rise as we join together in the candle lighting blessings.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
May be seated. Let's turn to the Sidurim, to the prayer books, the smaller of the two books, to Kabbalat Shabbat, the opening service of Shabbat, a selection of psalms and songs that transition us into the day of rest, one psalm for each day of the week. We turn to page 11, and we open with the words, "Let us go and sing to God. Let's trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, we greet God as we raise our voices in song." At the top of the page, L'chuna Ranana.
Let's join together. L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, Adonai. L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, Adonai. Naria, Naria, L'tzori, Shenu Nikadma, Vana B'toda. Naria, Naria, L'tzori, Shenu, Bizmirot, Naria, Lo. L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'Adonai. L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'Adonai. Arba'im shana kut bedor, va'omaram tohi levavim, ve'hem lo yedu derachai, asher nishbati v'api, im yivon hamenuchati.
Sing to God a new song, sing to God all the earth. At the top of page 13, Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash.
Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai baruch shemo, basru miyom liyom yeshuato, shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai baruch shemo, basru miyom liyom yeshuato, sabru v'goyim kevodo. B'chol ha'amim nifleotav. Sabru v'goyim kevodo. B'chol ha'amim nifleotav. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai baruch shemo, basru miyom liyom yeshuato, shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai baruch shemo, basru miyom liyom yeshuato, miyom leyom, miyom leyom, miyom leyom, miyom leyom, miyom leyom, miyom leyom, basru miyom liyom yeshuato. השמיים ותגר הארץ, ירם הימים לא יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו, אז ירננו כל עצי יער. לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, ועמים באמונתו.
Let's turn to page 20, the final 3 lines of the page at the red arrow, Romamu. Turn to page 23 as we welcome the Shabbat Kala, the Shabbat bride, with the words of Lecha Dodi. We join together in the first 2 stanzas, and then we skip to the final stanza, Boi v'shalom, that means come in peace. And when we reach that final stanza, the tradition is to rise in our places and to face the door of the sanctuary as we symbolically welcome in Shabbat. Page 23, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi.
may be seated. Let's turn to page 27. Song for the day of Shabbat. It's good to thank you, O God, and to sing your name, to proclaim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת תולדו לאדוני וזמר לשמך עליון לניגון בחסדך. We'll pick up on 28 at the little red arrow. Tzadik atamar yifrach ki eres alvanon yizkeh shetulim bevet Adonai bechatrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Od yiruvun beseva dishenim veranim yiu lehagid ki hashar Adonai turi velo havlatabo.
Page 29.
Adonai malaki lavesh lavesh Adonai ozita zar aptikon tebel baltimot. Mikolot ba'im rabim adirim mishpereyam adir b'marom Adonai erotachananu levitzchana v'kodesh Adonai leorach yamim.
I'm going to invite everyone to please rise. And one of the most beloved traditions on Friday nights at home is to share words of bracha, words of blessing, the priestly blessing, our oldest existing Jewish prayer at home with our children. And here at Temple Israel, we share it with the people around us, friends, family, community members. I'm going to say, if you see someone by themselves, go over to them and wish them a Shabbat Shalom, say hello, turn around, look and see who's there. And if you're comfortable doing so, put your arms around the person next to you. We join each other in these words of bracha.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. We join together.
Kein yehi ratzon. May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav ilecha v'chunecha.
Kein yehi ratzon. May God's face be lifted towards you, and may God be merciful towards you.
Yisa Adonai panav ilecha v'yasim lecha shalom.
Kein yehi ratzon.
Yasim lecha shalom. Kein yehi ratzon. Yasim lecha shalom. Kein yehi ratzon.
God turn toward you and grant you shalom, grant you peace. Kein yehi ratzon. May be seated. You know, one of the most fun parts of my job, actually, that I think about in hindsight is when I meet with a family that's about to have a baby or has just had a baby, and get to help them choose how to name their child. And it's always interesting what we come up with when we put our heads together and we pull out the name dictionary. And I helped someone with a baby girl this week come up with the name Chana. And it was based on the name Chain. And chen is mercy, and it's in the bracha, the blessing that we just recited, asking God to be merciful, to be gracious towards us, and it's a beautiful name to choose. So I love it when I see the words of the bracha and being able to share with them that every Friday night when you say this blessing, you'll be using your daughter's name to bless her with this. So one of those beautiful moments we get to enjoy in the synagogue. Now turn to our prayer for healing, Mishaberach prayer, as we think of the people in our lives in need of physical and spiritual well-being. If you'd like to include someone in this prayer for healing on Shabbat, I invite you to rise in your places and to share the names of the people you're praying for when I come to you. Yet kol hacholim, and all those who are ill, we join together in a prayer for healing.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mekor ha'bracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
Turn to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 30, and I invite those in mourning or marking a yort site to rise and join me in the words of the Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divera kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen, yehei shemei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lomeo maya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata damiran v'yalma v'yimru amen yehesh lama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, amen. May be seated. Good Shabbos, everyone. So in my first year of rabbinical school, I had to take a seminar in conducting life cycle events. It was the one class you took in your first year that was thought of as kind of practical rabbinics, as opposed to more text study or history. There was a teacher who'd been a practicing rabbi at one point. And almost right from the beginning, he and I didn't get along. We didn't see eye to eye. I came from a much more doctrinaire place than he did. And first-year rabbinical students tend to be very opinionated and very obnoxious, as first-year students in many programs are. Sorry, college students. And think they know, and who we think we know everything. But I learned something really very important from him. And that was, you have to meet with him a certain number of times after you handed in assignments about different life cycle events. And you'd sit in his office, you would sit across from him, and he would ask you a question, or he would say something, and you would say, your thing, you would answer the question, and then he would stare at you silently. It was very disconcerting, because when someone stares at you silently, all you want to do is keep talking. You want to say something else. You want to fill the silence. You want to make up for it. So it's a great way to get someone to talk, is to look at them very quietly and silently and wait for them to talk. And it was a wonderful lesson, both because it's a technique that really works, and it's also really a very useful rabbinical skill, that silence and not talking, not saying something in a given moment is sometimes a rare skill, or a hard skill to come by, and an underappreciated one. And that's on display in the Torah portion in the parsha that we read tomorrow in Parashat Shmini. Parashat Shmini, something devastating happens. On the day that the Mishkan, the very first Jewish temple, is dedicated, a day that is meant to be joyful, Aaron's sons, Aaron is the first priest, and two of his sons, Nadav and Avihu, die suddenly and tragically. In the midst of performing the service in the temple, God strikes them down for some reason that's not entirely clear from the text. And this day is ruined by the worst possible event. And Moses responds by talking immediately. He goes up to his brother Aaron, and he starts to theologize. He starts to tell him, this is why it happened, this is what it means about this is what God intended, this is why they died. And the Torah tells us that Aaron, instead of responding to Moses, did something different. It says two very powerful words, Vayidom Aharon. And Aaron was silent. That's the end of the conversation, the end of the story. We don't know what he said back to Moses. Moses responds to this horrible event by talking, by trying to figure out what to say immediately. And Aaron, through the shock, through the pain, just knows, don't have to say anything, can be silent. Again, it's a powerful lesson because we know that we right now live in a world where we're called upon often to have reactions, to have instant reactions, to know what to say immediately, to have an answer to everything that comes up, to have a way to explain it, or to have a way to react, to say something about it that makes it make sense to the person you are talking to. I know I feel that pressure as a rabbi. When something happens, I have to give it meaning. I have to tell people what it means, what it has to do with Judaism. But I learned something important from that teacher in rabbinical school and from Aaron in the Torah, that not every moment needs a response. Not every moment needs talking. Some experiences, sometimes things happen that really should not jump in with an opinion and trying to talk quickly and figure out what you need to say in that moment. Some moments call for sitting there in silence, maybe by yourself, maybe with another person, just being together or being alone with your own thoughts. And that's the comfort that is needed while you think about what it is to do next. We do that when something tragic happens, or ideally we should. But one of the things that I love about Shabbat, that got a lot harder since I had children, is that Shabbat is supposed to be a time that gives us that space for silence, for quiet, for stepping back, for not responding to everything, for not saying everything that you feel needs to be said or doing everything that you needs to be done, reacting, but enjoying that moment of quiet, of not having to do anything, of not having to say something or react to something. And that's a blessing that Shabbat gives us every week. It gives us that permission to sit back and say, I'm not going to find the perfect thing to say right now. I'm going to sit and think about this. I'm going to think about what this means for me, what this means for other people. And when I'm ready, I'll have something to say, I'll have something to share, and I'll be more prepared, more ready, and will know that I can be strong for myself, and support the people around me. Shabbat Shalom. Let's turn to the Mariv, to the evening service, page 39. Please rise for the Baruch Hu.
Arichu et
may be seated. Blessed are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from before the light.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים. תמיד ימחלנו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המריב הרבי.
Amen. Page 40.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך, אהבת תורה ומצוות ובשבטים. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, ועבדך תעשי ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובישעריך.
Continue on page 42.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר בני ישראל. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Then Moses, Miriam, and the people of Israel joyfully sang this song to you, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, top of page 44.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל, לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. ונאמר, כי פדה את יעקב וגמר חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
Amen. Allow us, God, to sleep peacefully and awaken us again to life. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow, and remove the evil forces that surround us. Blessed are you who spreads a canopy of peace over us, over all the people of Israel, and over Jerusalem. Page 45, Hashkivenu.
Join your voice with mine. Here we go. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom leshalom Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom leshalom Ve'ha'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim l'chaim ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha shlomecha. Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. And then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. 'Cause when negativity surrounds, I know someday it will all turn around. Because all my life I've been praying for, I've been waiting for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play one day, one day, one day. Whoa, one day, one day, one day. Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Ve'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Ve'hamidenu malkeinu Ushmor tzitenu vo'enu l'chaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha baruch ata Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu v'kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Amen. Page 46, please rise.
Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'torotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat le'torotam berit olam. B'ni u'b'bnei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'torotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'torotam berit olam. U'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ויתהדה שמי רבה, בעלמא דברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי,
בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה, בעגלה, ובזמן קריב. אמן. יהי שמי רבא מבורך, לעולם ולעולם מעולמיה. יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, יתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה, שמי דקודשה
בריחו
לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה.
תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמא. We spend the next few moments in silent prayer with the words of the Amidah, beginning on page 47.
You may be seated when you've completed your Amidah. So this week we just commemorated Yom HaShoah, and coming up is Yom HaZikaron, the Day of Remembrance in Israel, and Yom HaAtzmaut, the Day of Independence. It's a very complicated time, and on Thursday, when we were talking about Parshat Shmini, like the rabbi spoke about, when Aaron's sons did something strange in within their sacrifice. There was a strange fire, and they were struck down, and the rabbis are not very kind about what were they doing, what was wrong with the sacrifice or the fire that they brought, that strangeness. And during Yom HaShoah this week, we had Judy LaPietra, who is a Holocaust educator, talk about the misuse of the term genocide, and it made me think about that strange fire, that sometimes we use things to, we can twist them just the slightest bit, and it changes the whole meaning, and it ends up causing more pain in the world. It's like a little bit of a strange fire, and we have to be careful not to misuse terms or invert situations. or misinterpret what's happening because that can happen, this strange fire. So I was getting really worked up about it, and one of the millionaires said, you know what, Cantor, it's gonna be okay. You gotta stay positive. I'm Yisrael Chai. And I thought, you know, that is true as we travel through these holidays, these commemorations. It seems as though there isn't enough space for all the pain that we're feeling. The rabbis didn't want us to have all this pain all the time. They wanted us to celebrate it all on one day, on Tisha B'Av, and we haven't been so lucky as to be able to do that. We keep having more and more days that commemorate pain. And so as we work through it, I was also thinking about the Pope passing, who was a real advocate for peace. And so I think it is our job to keep peace in our hearts and to keep hope in our hearts and not to twist things in negative ways, but to try to defend truth and justice. And that starts with peace. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen, ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom al kol yoshvei tevel.
We continue on page 54 with Kaddish Shalem.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
יעמד דברי חירותי ונכלכותי בחיים חנובים בכל נבחרי תורה בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו
Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach, Le'olam Olol Me'omaya, Yitbarach.
יתברך וישבח ויבר ותרומה ויתנשא ויתהדר ויצלח ויצלח שמיר קודשה
Rihu.
לעילם ינכל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמא ואמרו
Amen.
תתקבל צלתנו ועלתנו תורי ישראל קדם אבוהן וישמעי ואמרו
Amen.
יהי שלום הרב מן שמיים וחיים מלאים ועל כל ישראל ואמרו
Amen.
עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
Amen. Page 55, please rise for Kiddush. I want to invite anyone younger than Bar Bat Mitzvah to join me up in the front over here. Savri Maranan Rabbanan Rabotai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yavav ratzon yichilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, v'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, b'ahava uvratzon, Inchaltanu Baruch Atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Chaim.
Chaim.
Page 56, Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו איnon, אמן מלכינו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא אלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת עינן. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
May be seated. Turn to the Mourner's Kaddish, page 58. This week we observe the Yort sites of Christopher Newman, Cyril Speisman, Daniel Litwack, Florence Green, Harold Ross, Paul Fixman, Samuel Greenspan, Harry Nelson, Helen Reichard, Erwin Thaler, Michael Meiselman, Rachel Rosenbaum, Regina Gelfand Landis, Charlie Pugh, Esther Koss, Esther Michelle, Hannah Flores, Jeannie Major, Joseph Greenspan, Julius Newman, Louis Rotker, Naomi Rosenberg, Paul Lavitt, Seymour Baumstein, Sheldon Bobrow, Shepard Shapiro, Sylvia Mysiorek, Walter Heskins, Helen Weinstein, Nathan Kay, Sarah Goldstone, Beatrice Goodman, Betty Miller, Charles Ginsberg, Ira Schulman, Jacob Fagan, Mary Sfredo, Molly Fabricant, Arthur Gordon, Dora Nelson, Gary Witt, Harry Wolfert, Joanna Simmons, Libby Levinson, Lundy Levine Hartis, Philip Nalabatsky, Audrey Maddens, Irving Hochstadt, Shirley Silverstein, Elizabeth Savadkin Small, Gabriel Gleiberman, Irving Epstein, Jacob Beikovitz, Julius Katzen, Mamie Schaefer, Michael Javaris, Pamela Godwin Carroll, and Philip Elliott Katzen. We also extend condolences to congregants who have recently lost loved ones. This Shabbat, we remember Cynthia Romero, mother of Dion Sands, Nathan Rose, brother of Sharon Hockfield, Rachel Lindenbaum, mother of Joanna Lindenbaum, Bob Abel, husband of Ann Abel. I'm sorry to share the passing earlier today of Jeannie Lecker, wife of David Lecker, and mother and grandmother and great-grandmother of congregants, and Jeannie's funeral and burial will be this coming Sunday at Charlotte Hebrew Cemetery at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Page 58, I invite those in mourning or marking a yortzeit to rise and join me in the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'yalma divera kirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen Yehi shemei Rabbah mevorach leolam olamei omaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha brichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'yalma v'imru amen Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. You may be seated. Representing the Temple Israel Board of Trustees, I call on Mark Sokolowitz.
Shabbat Shalom. Just a few announcements for today. It was such a great service. It's a great way to end the week and start Shabbat. On Sunday, May 4th, is our Tuesday annual meeting at the temple. It's a great opportunity for the whole congregation to get together to review the great successes of last year and talk about the new things coming for the upcoming year that the temple is going to be doing. On Sunday, May 18th, the temple is going to celebrate Lag BaOmer with a scenic hike on Crowder's Mountain. Meet at the bottom of the mountain at 1:30 to enjoy a meaningful teaching from Rabbi Wolf at the summit, and wrap up with some ice cream at the base, courtesy of the Temple Israel Men's Club. A minyan is still important, and lately, we've always struggled to gain 10 people or more, so I encourage everybody to come. The times are Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m., and Saturday at 12:30, and Sunday at 9 a.m., and Thursday at 8 a.m. Next week, we're honored to welcome some special guests from Israel as we celebrate Shabbat together in honor of Israel's Independence Day. Tonight we're thrilled to welcome the students from UNCC Charlotte Hillel to join us in Shabbat. We hope you've enjoyed the service, and we're glad you're here. Thank you to the Charlotte community for their coordination, and to everyone who attended the Yom HaShoah community commemoration. Your presence helped to make it a meaningful and powerful gathering of remembrance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Shabbat Shalom. Let's turn back to page 5, and we conclude in a moment with the words of Shalom Aleichem. As Mark said, we welcome some students from UNCC, from the Hillel, who are with us tonight. There's some other Charlotte students over at Bethel, and some more joining us, and we'll be gathering together for Shabbat dinner afterwards in the social hall, and we welcome them to Shalom Park this Shabbat. Let's turn back to page 5. Shalom Aleichem. Can I guess that you're going to promote Wodi Shabbat coming up? A beautiful event coming up on what date? May 9th is Wodi Shabbat. Schedule is going to be a little bit different, even though it is sponsored or organized by the Women of Temple Israel. It is open and welcome to absolutely everyone. It will be a beautiful service opening at 5:30 with a moment of meditation led by Haley Sklut. 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. And we're moving services 15 minutes later on that day to 6:30, a beautiful Kabbalat Shabbat led by Cantor and by members of Wodi, teachings from Wodi, and Shabbat dinner following. Did I get it all in there? Yes.
And we're hoping for it to be outside, right? We're hoping.
God willing, outside in the courtyard. We've been seeing you working very hard all week out there. Now let's turn back to page 5.
Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shalom Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ay, Voachem L'Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu, Nil Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu, Ay, Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Amlachim HaKadosh. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.